Hey guys, I am going to be using this platform, I guess, to journal, I guess, or chart or share with you my experience on a new medication that I just received today. So a little about me. I'm 36 years old. I'm a mother of two children. I'm married. Currently, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I was a single parent for about 9 years. I worked full-time, I attended school, and I raised my daughter. During that time, I struggled with an opioid addiction, and here I am. I got into recovery about 4 years ago, and I got into medication-assisted treatment because at the time I was pregnant, and the safest way for a pregnant woman to get into recovery, a pregnant woman who is addicted to and physically dependent on opioids, to get into recovery is through medication-assisted treatment, whether that be on methadone maintenance or buprenorphine maintenance medication. So I had no choice at that point in time. If I wanted to continue my pregnancy and not lose it, I needed to transition from using the short-acting opioids that I was during my active addiction days to the more long-acting, longer half-life medications. So I started taking Subutex, and this is back in 2015. So the end of 2015. So I was pregnant, I was on Subutex, I was going to meetings, I was like, neck deep in recovery. I was in IOP, which is short for intensive outpatient treatment. So I had to quit my job in order to do that. I attended a group session for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Or no, I'm sorry, it was 4 days a week. And I sort of like graduated that and went on to something called relapse prevention, which is another group meeting. And it's instead of, the full 4 days a week, 3 hours at a time, I met with that group 2 days a week. And it was 3 hours at a time as well. And I was tested. I had my urine screened on a very regular and also irregular basis. I could expect to get screened at all of my doctor's appointments, but I was also screened randomly by my counselor who was in charge of my meeting group that I met at the clinic. So because I was pregnant, being a pregnant woman in a Suboxone/Subutex clinic means that your doctor is going to keep pretty close tabs on you. So I received daily medication through the clinic for quite a while. They did not phase me up to take homes for a while because they wanted to watch me closely. And I did, I kind of worked my way up. By the time I had given birth, I had actually gotten to I was seeing the doctor bi-weekly, and then as soon as I gave birth, they allowed me to start getting my medication monthly. So that's basically the longest leash you can have legally in my state, a month worth of medication at a time, and I would only see the doctor every 3 months. So I was doing really well. I was really stable on that medication for a long time. I attended counseling, independent counseling sessions at the clinic as well. I did stop going to Narcotics Anonymous because they are not tolerant of people that are on medication-assisted treatment. They don't consider you clean if you're on medication, but for me, it's what worked. I've been drug-free the entire time I've been on medication-assisted treatment, and I have not had to deal with any temptations, which has allowed me to really work on myself and allow myself to heal spiritually and physically and emotionally, and all of those things I have been able to do. So my life now is very peaceful. It's pretty like calm You know, we've lived in the same house for 4 years. My husband has had the same job. Like, we're just an average American family at this point. And I really do credit my recovery and medication-assisted treatment for that. So now that everything has kind of calmed down and I'm in a great place mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I decided that it's time for me to start looking at starting to phase off of the medication. And I sort of started researching like, okay, well, sure, I could wean and taper just like, you know, a lot of people do, just sort of step slowly down off of the medication, start at this dose and then just slowly work your way down. And I'm like, you know, that's an option. And I could do that, you know, it's still on the list. But then there is another medication that's fairly new on the market called Sublocade. Sublocade is a monthly injection. It is a monthly buprenorphine injection. There's no naloxone in it. So it is literally the same exact medication that I've been taking. And what happens is that they inject you with 300 milligrams your first month. And it is it's an abdominal injection site. And I'm not, you know, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but it's basically underneath my pants. I won't show you. But it's like a little, the nurse kind of called it an encapsulation, like it's like a small, like subcutaneous meaning underneath the skin, encapsulation of medication. So it's just like a little round bubble, like a little bean. And what it does is that it sort of like keeps the levels of medication in your body very even. Like the serum levels will never go up and down. They'll just stay the same. So there's a lot of benefits to that. Number one, you no longer have to carry around medication. Number two, you don't need to worry about getting a call from your doctor's office to drive all the way there for a random pill count. That's only happened to me twice, but you know, I've been compliant both of those times. Number three, if you have small children or other addicts that are in recovery in your home, removing the medication is good for them, you know. Not having the meds around for somebody like my husband who is in recovery but not on medication-assisted treatment is smart. It's good for him. He doesn't need that around. I mean, of course, he's never taken any of it or done anything like that, but he's, you know, it's still something there in his mind that he has to contend with. So that's great, you know. Or if you're living in a situation that is transient and you don't know who you're going to be with from, you know, one day to the next, Sublocade might be a great option for you because you don't have to worry about your medicine. Like, you don't have to worry about being separated from it. Traveling, like if you have a job where you need to be traveling a lot, taking your medication on the plane or leaving it in a hotel room is always a risk because you don't know, you don't know who's going to be in there. And, you know, I was in Las Vegas last year. My husband and I went to a really big club called Hakkasan, and I don't leave my medication in the hotel room because I do not trust anybody. And that medicine is literally my lifeline. So I kept it with me in my purse at all times. And I was really smart about it. You know, it was in a locked bag. I had, you know, obviously my name on the prescription bottle. It was mine, you know. And unfortunately, when I went to the club, one of the bouncers made me open my bag, and he took my medicine bottle way away from me. My heart started pounding, and I was like, please don't take my medicine. This is mine, has my name on it. And I was like, here's my ID, you know, this is who I am. And he was real skeptical about it. He looked at my pills, he shook the bottle. He didn't like that I was bringing pills into his club. And I can understand why. But I also had to explain to him that, like, you know, I can't leave this in a hotel room. You know, this is bad. This is bad news. Like, I need to keep this with me. So he told me that I couldn't take my purse in and that I had to essentially check it with the casino hotel that the club was inside of. So I was at MGM and I had to check it behind the desk at MGM, and I was so nervous. I felt so weird doing that, but luckily it all turned out okay. So that's like a situation where, you know, I wouldn't have had to worry about if I had been on the shot, you know. So anyway, so many reasons why, so many positives, so many good things. And also in my own mind, the connection that I have between taking those pills and feeling normal. Like as an addict, I need to break that connection. I need to break that like mental, you know, I guess obsession sort of. It's not really an obsession, but it's more like a fixation. It's like something that my mind tells me, like, if you take this, you'll feel normal. So I have to tell myself that I don't need that anymore and that I will be just fine without it. So, you know, enter the shot. It's going to give me sort of like training wheels. So I still have the medication available in my body, but I teach myself that I don't need pills every day to feel normal. So this is giving me the perfect opportunity to learn that. Anyway, how am I feeling now? Well, I had my shot this morning. I think it was about 10:15, and it's been a couple of hours. Now, I'd say the first half hour or so, I felt a little weird. I don't know, I felt like I was kind of on a little bit of a roller coaster. First, I felt like I could feel it, and then I didn't, and then I did, and it was just kind of this back and forth. Like I was just kind of flashing between, you know, feeling like I was on medication and then feeling like, oh my God, I'm in withdrawal, you know. But now I think things have kind of evened out a little. I feel more normal, you know. I just feel like myself, you know. I have a tiny headache, but I think that's because I waited too long to get my first cup of coffee today. So I don't really think that's anything to do with the medication. So, you know, like as long as I stay out of my own head and I stay busy and I stay positive, I think I'm going to be just fine. So I will update in a few days to let you know how I'm feeling. Yeah. I just thought I'd share because I know that this medication is at its earlier stages, and you know, I just feel like because I tried looking for videos and stuff when I was first thinking about switching. So I figured I'd put this out there if anybody needed to know or anybody needed to hear from a real person with real experience. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope you got what you were looking for, and I will update again. God bless you.